I'm Jeffrey Dungan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of reelyActive. What we do is we have technology that allows a space to understand everything that is present without the need for human-entered data. We allow spaces to understand the lighting, the sound, the conditions, and adapt to create better human experiences.
It really didn't take long for the smartphone to become core to how we interact, at least digitally. But our daily lives aren't purely digital. You and I are having an interaction here in a real, physical space. Now imagine that this room could understand that. It would mean that everything around us, every last bit of technology, would be able to adapt to our presence.
By now, you may have heard the term Internet of Things. Sounds interesting, but what does the Internet of Things actually mean? IoT is an evolution of mobile, home, and embedded applications that are being connected to the internet, integrating greater compute capabilities and using data analytics to extract meaningful information. Billions of devices will be connected to the internet, and soon, hundreds of billions of devices. As related devices connect with each other, they can become an intelligent system of systems.
Over the past century, but accelerating over the past couple of decades, we've seen the emergence of a kind of global data field. The planet itself, natural systems, human systems, physical objects, have always generated an enormous amount of data, but we didn't used to be able to hear it, to see it, to capture it. Now we can, because all of this stuff is now instrumented.
Working with reelyActive for a couple of years now. We've helped them build their technology infrastructure. We've helped them connect with mentors within the company. They're building some really amazing stuff on our platform. And it really brings out the inner geek within me every time I see their hardware technologies.
Microsoft Ventures and BizSpark have been really great to us in terms of giving us a lot of visibility, showing a lot of interest in what we're doing, and they've been very generous as well with their time while we learn and play around. And it's all interconnected, so we can actually have access to it. So, in effect, the planet has grown a central nervous system.
So there's about 1 billion people using the internet at the moment, and that's set to grow to probably 2 billion in the next couple of years. And we think that's quite a lot, but over the last 10 years I've been looking at devices being linked up together using networks, so little sensors on things, these temperature sensors and traffic sensors and flow rate of water and how much electricity, all transmitting data. It won't be long, and it may even have happened already, that there's more things on the internet than there are people on the internet.
And when these intelligent devices and systems of systems share data over the cloud and analyze it, they can transform our businesses, our lives, and our world in countless ways. Whether it's improving medical outcomes, creating better products faster with lower development costs, making shopping more enjoyable, or optimizing energy generation and consumption.
Geekdom and technology is poised for a huge leap forward. And its name? The Internet of Things. So what is this Internet of Things, and why should you care? Well, here, the Internet has been around for a while, but it's been mostly the product of people. So all the data and images and recordings and games, books, and commerce, and all of that was created by people, for people, and about people. See, the Internet is one of the most important and transformative technologies ever invented.
That's just the beginning, because you and I can opt in and share anything we want via any smart space. Let's put things in context. Experience is everything. And because people are in complete control over their own smart space experiences, it means that it's a win-win for everyone in the ecosystem.
I happen to know a few people who couldn't live without it. All kidding aside, the internet is like a digital fabric that's woven into the lives of all of us in one way or another. The Internet of People changed the world. Well, there's a new internet emerging, and it's poised to change the world again. You see, this new internet is not just about connecting people, it's about connecting things.
Your next refrigerator may know more about your diet than your doctor. many objects do you have that are connected to the internet? About a decade ago, you probably would have said 1 or maybe 2 if you were an early adopter of smartphone technology. But today, oh, well, I've got a work computer, I've got a personal computer, I've got a tablet, I've got a smartphone, I've got a video game console, I've got a media player, I've got a smart TV, I even have a smart refrigerator.
Here's an example of the big picture. Imagine an intelligent device such as a smart traffic camera. The camera can monitor the road for congestion, accidents, and weather conditions, and communicate that status to a gateway that combines it with data from other cameras, creating an intelligent citywide traffic system. Now, imagine that intelligent traffic system connected to other citywide transportation systems, which get data from their own intelligent devices, creating an ever larger intelligent system of systems.
Now, extend this trend outward, and what do we get? Well, it's estimated by 2020 there will be 50 billion objects connected to the internet. Now that's billion with a B. It's also estimated by the US Census Bureau that there will be 7.6 billion people alive at that time. So that means that for every person there will be 6.6 objects connected to the internet.
Surely you've been shopping at some point where you wish you could just say, "Leave me alone." Or imagine walking up to a sign and having it present you with exactly the information you need just because you're there. Should technology interrupt us from living in the present moment? Of course not.
That's really what we mean by the Internet of Things. Then you get this sea of data that you just drown in, literally. And there's this triangle that's been quite well documented called the DIKW triangle. That's data, information, knowledge, and the tip at the top is wisdom. The D at the bottom is a sea of data, and when we get this data back home and start doing stuff with it, we apply intelligence to it and transform up that stack. So we go from data into information, information into knowledge, and then glean some wisdom from that. And that's really what the analytics part of our Smarter Planet story is all about.
So the Internet of Things, it's here. Or is it? If it is here, where is it? If it isn't here, when's it going to get here? The Internet of Things. What are the things that we're talking about?
And so it's named the Internet of Things. Okay, so connecting things to the internet, big deal, right? Well, it kind of is, and here's why. Because things can start to share their experiences with other things.
Technology should blend into the background and become invisible. I think we're reaching a tipping point where you'll soon expect these kind of experiences to just happen, regardless of where you find yourself, and without having to fiddle with your phone. reelyActive is about experiencing life through smart spaces.
Yeah, I would like to tell a story about the future. So my story is about the Internet of Things, but it's actually from a designer's perspective and from a user's perspective. That's because I'm a designer, but I'm also a user. So what is the Internet of Things? We're actually at a point now where the Internet is evolving.
So first of all, I just want to say that Internet of Things is already here, and you're doing it all the time, every day. It's just that you don't think about it.
We're seeing a shift from connectivity, anytime, any place, for anyone, which we're all experiencing now, to also include anything. Things are getting connected to the Internet. Now, we've been talking about this for a number of years now, and I have to admit, I've been asking, what exactly is this Internet of Things? When is it going to happen? And what is it actually going to mean for me? And what is it going to mean for you?
And more importantly, when the Internet of Things comes to fruition, is it going to really reduce complexity, add value, give us more time in our lives?
Whoa, wait, what? How's that work, right? Well, it works like this. You take things, and then you add the ability to sense and communicate and touch and control. And there, you get an opportunity for things to interact and collaborate with other things. So think of it like this. We as human beings, we interact and contribute and collaborate with other people in our own environment through our 5 senses. We have seeing and smelling and touch and taste and hearing, right? Well, imagine things with the ability to sense and to touch, and then add the ability to communicate. And that's where the Internet of People and the Internet of Things intersect.
But we're talking about things here, and these things are embedded computers. Embedded computers have been around for 40 years now. As we've seen, their capabilities are expanding at more law capabilities. But it's the human mindset of how we apply these to the problem, I believe, that's inhibiting the expansion of the Internet of Things. So when I go talk to customers about Internet things, whether it's devices, whether it's infrastructure, services, or complete end-to-end Internet of Things service delivery, we always get into these what ifs, right? What if? So very simple notion, the Internet of Things.
Now there's a number of companies that are busy with this. Intel predicts 31 billion things are going to be connected to the internet by 2020. According to Cisco, it could be as many as 50 billion things. And IBM, according to them, in effect, the planet has grown a central nervous system. And this introduces a very important aspect about the Internet of Things. It's not just the things that are connected to the internet, it's actually the data that they're creating and communicating with each other and communicating with us that's going to enable us to do some really interesting things.
We're talking about a world blanketed with billions of sensors. These sensors are taking information from real physical objects that are in the world and uploading it to the internet. It's a world where your environment transforms as you walk through it because technology that you may not even be aware of is monitoring your every move. It's a world that's constantly changing all around us due to these sensors and the internet, and we call it the Internet of Things. Let's stroll into the living room of the future. Now, immediately, this room identifies you and taps into a cloud-based profile of preferences like climate control, music, lighting, and decor. Had a long day at work? The room knows based on the calendar app on your phone and biosensors that detect the stress via blood pressure and heart rate. So it turns off the rockabilly surf guitar you usually listen to and switches to a more soothing classical music. From environmental sensors outside and maybe even worn within your clothing itself, it knows it was snowing earlier, so the climate control begins to crank up the heat in anticipation as you walk through the door. Now, on the software side, we're talking about algorithms that are so sophisticated, they may be able to predict what you want before you know you even wanted it. So when you walk to the refrigerator, it tells you not only what's in there, it tells you what you can make with the stuff you already have. And it's already telling you what's inside and what's the perfect meal based upon your mood, your activity level, and maybe even, well, your weight loss plan for some of us. As for how many objects could be connected to the internet, well, consider this. The latest version of Internet Protocol, IPv6, creates more potential addresses than there are atoms on the surface of the Earth.
So what are some examples of these things? Well, let's start here. How about your smartphone? You wouldn't believe at how many senses your smartphone has. It knows where you are. It knows if you're moving. It knows how you're holding it. It knows how much light's in the room. It knows how close it is to your face. It knows what you're saying to it, and it even has an eye so it can see its surroundings. Oh, and it also has the ability to communicate on a wireless network. Okay, so that's probably an obvious example. How about this one? My bracelet. I'm wearing it up here right now. It tracks my steps, it tracks my activity, it even knows how well I've slept. And it can communicate on a network. Okay, all of us probably have one of these in our homes, maybe a version of one of these. It's a thermostat. But this thermostat does way more than just know the temperature in the room. It knows whether I'm in the room or not. And it learns and tracks my home and away patterns to ensure my comfort and save energy.
So we're going to live in a world completely filled with sensors, with data, reacting to us, changing every moment dependent upon our needs. I'm no longer going to be asking you, hey, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite music? I'm going to ask you, what's your reality like? I know what mine is when I walk into my house, how the world reacts to me, but how does it react to you? This is more than philosophy. It's more than technology. It is altering reality as we know it.